Welcome to episode 7 of How to Be Unscammable. This important 10-episode series is designed to help older adults learn how to secure their digital lives. And this episode looks at identity theft and the steps you need to take to protect yourself from it. Identity theft is at the top of the to-do list for all cybercriminals. They want our PII, or personally identifiable information, to commit fraud, to get passports, take out loans, buy homes, access government services, and more, all in our names. Having your identity stolen is a very big deal. The good news is that we can take simple steps to keep that from happening. Now, I've talked a lot in this series about the way cybercriminals can break into our digital lives, and I've given you the steps to follow to keep you one step ahead. Protection from identity theft is woven through most of these steps, because by keeping your digital life secure, you're a harder target for cybercriminals to attack. And since most people aren't properly protecting their digital lives, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit for cybercriminals to pick up, but that is not going to be you after you've completed the steps in this series. I think knowledge is power, and I know you don't need to be a rocket scientist or a security expert to avoid having your identity stolen by cybercriminals. So it's time to dive into the steps for this episode. Let's get started. This is an easy one. To steal your identity, scammers need some of your PII, or personally identifiable information. We've talked a lot about PII in this series. This step is to understand what your PII is. You want to become hyper cautious about sharing it when you create online accounts, posting information on social media, and the other places you live your digital life. This step is also a reminder to never share your personal information over the phone, via text, message, or email with someone you're not completely sure of. Check out episode 6 for more information about how to avoid being scammed. Now here's a partial list of PII. I'm going to include a link to PII info sheet in the show notes. This gives you more information about the data that's considered to be part of your PII, and it also lists your non-PII, just so you have that for information. There are many places we go online that ask for our names, where we live, and other questions about ourselves. Sometimes the answers to these questions can make our experience on these platforms more valuable and rewarding. So this step is to decide if your PII is needed when you set up for an online account. Is your full legal name required, or can you use a nickname? And when you tell the account where you're from, can you use a larger city in your country, or does the place really have to be where you actually live? If you're online shopping, it does, but that new gaming app definitely doesn't need to know where you live. And think hard about giving out your phone number. We learned in episode 5 that you can change your email address when you need to, but phone numbers are not quite so easy to replace. There are a lot of things I've signed up for online that I really enjoy reading, watching, or participating in. But between us, most of those accounts have received fake information from me. If my credit card isn't tied to the account, I don't give those websites and services my full legal name or even my real birth date, for instance. That is when I channel my alter ego. My alter ego is much younger than me. But sometimes it's older than me. It kind of depends on the mood I'm in. I sometimes use a different province, postal code, and a fake phone number, and I always use my throwaway email address on these types of accounts. See episode 5 for more information about what a throwaway email address is. I use this alter ego method if I sign up for a downloadable document or a free ebook or a new app or a newsletter. With an alter ego, a throwaway email address, and a unique randomly generated password, I am pretty darn secure. You probably won't be able to get away with an alter ego on a social media account. Social media platforms are cracking down on fake accounts. But when you set up your social media accounts, do whatever you can to limit the PII you provide. It's important you don't answer security questions with any phrases or words that can be found by searching you online or trolling through your social media accounts. Instead, consider using words that are completely meaningless. Here's an example of how random words can be used to answer your security questions. For the question, what is your sister's middle name? I would use the answer, umbrella. And the ubiquitous, what is your mother's maiden name? I would answer, rocket ship. Now you're getting the idea. But a Google survey found that hackers are able to guess answers to security questions quite often. For the question, where was your first kiss? It turns out most of us answer some version of homecoming dance. Those were the days. And what is your favorite food? The most popular answer was pizza. You don't want to use answers that can be guessed. When you create your security question answers, record them somewhere secure. Inside a password manager would be a great place. See if your password manager app has a notes section you can use for this purpose. If you want to learn more about password managers, check out episode 4. Even Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, has admitted that whatever you post publicly to Facebook is probably being seen or taken by someone. And I'm guessing it's a safe bet that that someone is a cyber criminal. If you created a Facebook account, you were walked through the steps to create your profile. And it's important that you understand what parts of your profile are public and available to cyber criminals or anyone else who wants to see it. So this step is to know what information from your Facebook account is public, and then to know how to lock down your Facebook security settings. Here is a partial list of the information you provide Facebook that they make public. The full list is included in the show notes you can get at the end of this episode. So you can see your name, your age range, your username, your profile picture, and even the country you live in. That's all made public. Now, we could spend an entire episode on Facebook alone, and we probably should, but we can't in this series. For now, understand that when you're using this platform and any social media platform, the public posts you write and the information you add to your profile can all be seen by cyber criminals. This information, especially if it's attached to your picture, could be used to steal your identity. So learn how to change your Facebook profile settings and then learn how to post privately. This will help you keep some of your information safe. The show notes include instructions on how to do a Facebook security tune-up. It's also important to know that Facebook has been part of many data breaches throughout the years. A recent example was the 533 million Facebook accounts that were stolen and posted on the dark web. So even the information that Facebook promises will be private is not necessarily so. That's why it's important when you're creating your Facebook account and you're using Facebook that you limit the information you provide. This may make it harder for your friends to find you, but you have other ways to help your real friends connect with you on Facebook. In this step, I give you a heads up to think about identity theft before you get rid of your old smartphone, tablet, computer, hard drives, wearable tech, or any device that's been connected to your other devices. To be unscammable, you have to properly erase your personal information from these devices. Deleting the files is definitely not enough. So first you need to back things up using an external hard drive or a cloud-based service. And then search online for specific instructions on how to do a factory reset for that device. This gets rid of all your data and puts these devices back to how they were when you pulled them out of the box. And this is a perfect job for that techie friend. If you can't factory reset your device, then you're going to have to destroy the hard drive if you can find it. One way to destroy a hard drive is to wrap it up in some cloth to prevent any bits from flying out. Definitely wear protective goggles for this. And then hammer a few nails through it. It's an urban myth that you can use a really powerful magnet to erase a hard drive. That just doesn't work. Now this could definitely be a fun project for that techie friend or maybe even the kid down the street. All right, let's recap the steps in this episode. Know what your PII is and avoid sharing it when possible, and only share it on trusted websites. Ask yourself if that website needs your PII, or can you use other information to sign up for that newsletter, game, or website. Be careful when using real answers to security questions, especially any answers that are easily guessable or could be found online. Watch what you're sharing on Facebook and be very aware that most of what you post might be public unless you make it private. Learn how to change your Facebook settings. Learn how to safely dispose of your electronics. You don't want any of your personal information on these devices when you drop them off. If you can't do a factory reset, then you might have to pull out your hammer because powerful magnets won't do it. It could be time to touch base with that techie friend. And that's it for episode 7, a look at the ways you can make sure your identity stays out of the hands of cyber criminals. In other episodes, I talk about ways you can protect your identity by protecting your passwords, securing your email accounts, checking to see if you've been sold on the dark web, securing your smart things and your home network. These are all steps that will help you be unscammable and protect your identity. It's the homework we all have to do to protect our digital lives. Coming up next is episode 8, where you will learn how to protect your devices. That means your smartphones, tablets, computers, and more. These are important steps to take to make sure the data on those devices doesn't end up in the hands of cyber criminals. And in episode 9, we look at how to surf the web safely. We'll see you in episode 8.